Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank for y'all for coming down supporting Trey Ferg, the player coach. Again, like I mentioned before, I had a little emergency within the home, so I had to take care of that business. So I do apologize. So I still like to salute to the veterans. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Trey Ferg, the player coach. Again, I do apologize for my delay today. Right at the last minute when I set everything up, something house within the house. So something happened within the house, and yeah, so I had to take care of that, and it took a little longer than I expected. Again, today is Sunday. I think the date is what? Well, today is Saturday, excuse me. Today's the 9th of June. Hope where everybody live at in part of the United States and even around the world, hope you have some nice weather today. Uh, not going to be too long, but I am going to go through, today's just topic. And the topic, it's not nothing to bash anybody. Just like I stated before, when I did the last series of husband, I'm just going to go through the series of a wife and, you know, possibly someone that wants to be a wife or is right there at, you know, thinking about marriage, however you look at it, or you may not even want to be a wife. All of those things can apply to at least the woman that I'm going to be discussing today. Uh, so, I do appreciate everybody from just being here, listening in. Again, the message that I have today may not be for everybody, but hopefully a few people can just receive the message and just apply it to their lives in some capacity, large or small, and just see if they can get a change for the better. Like I said, it's enough chaos going on, and can't do it on Sunday. Everybody's supposed to relax on Sunday. Relax, cook you a nice meal, wash all your clothes, all of that good stuff. So, when I look at the pictures and everything when I'm creating it, it's just something that come up in my mind. It ain't really nothing fancy, spectacular. You know, I try not to be the center of attention. I'm ugly enough, so I just try to get something that can demonstrate at least the topics and everything that I talk about. Sometimes I may be right spot on. Sometimes I may be spot off. Just like making a music video. Sometimes the video don't have nothing to do with the song, and sometimes it matches perfect. So I just have that creative style. Ain't nothing fancy. Just by the title being wife. Yeah, wife it's spelled with 4 letters. However, wife is a long word. Wife is, it has it's like when you look at the word, it's like a road almost. Some roads would probably lead to a dead end, but, just the word wife is very unique to me. Mother, ooh, mother's nice, but wife, that just sounds better. Mother's nice, and wife is twice as nice. There you go. And again, I know that having sisters and aunties and cousins, regardless of what type of person they are, you know, some people are equipped to be a wife and some people are not. But, it doesn't really change anything. I wonder if people can hear me. Because I can't recognize my sound. Let me see if I can hear myself. Hello? It doesn't really. Yeah. I just can't recognize my sound on my computer. I'm sorry. Yeah, And again, four-letter word that carries a lot. Carries a lot of weight. It's a unique word, and I've just been doing my little reading and understanding and just trying to break it down the best way I can, you know, despite whatever bad may be in it or I guess, but I just try to see how many goods I can get out of it. And if I can get more goods out than bads, then I feel like I'm winning. And it shows in, I guess just in who I am, how I treat people and how people treat me. So, you know, now just in regards to my own experience, this is my second marriage. My first marriage, I was young. I was 24. I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready. A lot of 24-year-olds, 26-year-olds, 28 years old women, they wasn't living in wifey behavior. And as a man, ugly, with big lips, I had hair back then. I used to cut my own hair, fade it up. I still do my mustache. I do it with a straight razor around. I'm old, my eyes ain't like they used to be, so I don't know if it be sharp enough, but I like those things. I like grooming myself. And that's how I apply to wife. I like a woman that grooms herself, that take care of herself, put her best package out there. That smell good too. And now that's something right there. But, that's just me as a man. Excuse me. Let me get some water. Apologize again. Had a little situation going on. Had to do some running around, so I had to get myself together. Yeah, so, just in my experience, I grew up with sisters also. I got 5 sisters, 2 older, 3 younger. I learned from watching my older sisters on how to treat a girl because, the guys that came around, regardless of what I saw them doing in the neighborhood, whether they was, trying to, do they little dirt or they were just good guys playing ball, whatever, had other girls or whatever. I didn't run back and tell my sisters. I saw him talking to her. No, I would just have a conversation. That's my sister. Don't put your hands on her. Don't do it. If you cheat on her, just leave her alone. I can understand that. But as far as like, think you're going to argue and fight, and this is when I was young. I was 15, 16, 17. My sisters, my younger sisters, well, my older sisters, I just watch how guys move with them. I used to go out and be around the older kids. My older sister is 5 years, and then it's a sister 3 years older than me. And then I'm the middle child, and then it's 4 more after me, 2 sets of twins back to back, less than a year apart. And my mom, I have to tell you, that's a whole nother story, because, yeah. But she was the best woman I ever known. Treat everybody with respect. My mother used to babysit people's kids. She could cook anybody under the table. She cooked better than my wife. But my wife cooked better than 95% of the women I met. But my mother could make everything without a recipe. I never saw her with a recipe. All the dishes. And the thing that made my mama the king is that I used to see her barbecue. She always barbecued. She would buy a big slab of ribs and everything. And we sit out there and she be talking and telling me to shut up because I'm just asking 1,000 questions. And again, my father was there, but my father, he was out in the streets drinking and boozing. I used to see him as a teenager. It wasn't too far from where I live. I used to walk 3 or 4 miles. That was nothing. Then when I got a teenager, I got me a moped, so I was everywhere. Matter of fact, by the time I got to a teenager, I'd already been everywhere 10 times, you know? But the thing that kept me from getting in trouble was, one, I had to get home to my mother's cooking. And two, I like my own room. Well, me and my brother share rooms, but I like my room. Have my radio, I used to light candles even back when I was a kid. I ain't like incense because of the smoke. And my parents smoked, so that was like, I don't like that. But as far as my mom, shit, my mom would, every like Memorial Day, 4th of July, Labor Day, in between those days, my mother had 6 sisters, and all of her sisters were married. Everybody was married. Most outlived the husband. All of my sisters was married. I mean, my mother's sisters were married, all of them. My grandmother, she was the light skin. I ain't get none of her hair. I don't know what I got. I got a mixture of too much. I was a first married child my mother had. Before that, my mother and father, they wasn't married. I was the first married child, so I got all of my daddy, some of my mama. But when we used to get together on those holidays, all my cousins, it'd be 80 of us just through children and aunties and uncles because everybody was married. My mother would cook and prepare all this food. She would take the roasting pan full of baked beans because couldn't nobody top up baked beans. And the whole pan used to be gone every time. When I first seen her doing it, I'm like, Mama, why you making 2 pans? She said, boy, everybody eats mine. Don't nobody else bring it. I went to the picnic. I was watching it. She said, get yours first in the car. And again, it was all of us going to the picnic. Sometimes my father went, sometimes he didn't. Sometimes his ass just be drunk, sleeping all weekend and shit. I used to come home I used to be looking at him like, man, come on, man. And my father has a unique story, but I saw what he was going through, so I just stayed away from it. He was fighting his own demons. And my grandfather was a pastor for over 40 years. Had 2 churches. I hardly ever saw him. I wasn't a bad kid. As a kid, my mother whooped me the most because I used to do stupid stuff. I remember one time I set the garbage on fire. My mother matter of fact, my mother worked at General Electric. Now she had 6, 7 kids in the house. She would go to work 8, 9 hours a day. She would cook a meal. She would wash clothes. She would fucking go grocery shopping. She would do everything. My father, he went to work every day. He worked for Louisville Slugger, Hildreth and Brasby for shit since the time I can remember. And he get his money. I guess he give whatever he go get to my mama. My mama, she make it work. Everything was good. When I turned like 14, she let me go shopping for myself. Cause she know I like to go to the stores and shit. I used to always, we go to the mall and I'm hitting damn near every store, the men's store, the women's store. I used to do all that. And one time, it's a crazy little short story. Me and my mother went to the mall, I think it was somebody else, but she'll tell me, don't get lost. She already know. I go walk around, hit every store. And one time we was in the mall, we kept missing each other. So when I went to go look for her, she went to go look for me. We couldn't find each other. Then she saw me. Oh my God. She just let me have it. You little light skin. I was like, but I was looking for you. She like, I don't give a damn. I was like, and it was funny. Once we got in the car, I was like, Mama, you was scared that I was going to be missing? She's like, boy, yes. She said, I wouldn't know what to do. I said, no, I ain't never going nowhere. I said, I'm always show up wherever I go. I'm always come home to you. And again, my daddy, he used to be doing some dumb shit. I used to be like, I don't know about daddy. His ass going to get it together. And I never told my mama the things I saw my daddy do. Never. I used to see my father hanging out with fucking girls I went to school with. That shit was weird as hell. They was all, out of school, high school and shit. I used to come home, especially, when I went to college, my daddy was real ignorant then, but that was him. When I came back home for about a year and a half after that, shit, my daddy was doing dumb shit. Then my grandfather had passed away. And then my mother, she just like, I'm done with you. And she just moved on. She just left him. She ain't asked for shit. She like, mad at her. Then she got sick. What was that? Shit, I was probably I know I was in my second tour of the service. And she told me she got sick. And none of my brothers and sisters even said nothing. It was wild. My mother was giving up. It was crazy, you know. But I never harped on it. She just said, live my best life. That's what she told me. And, it's unfortunate my mom passed in 2003, end of April, first part of May. And, Derby's big in the first weekend in May in Kentucky. And that's where I grew up at, just so y'all didn't know. And, she would always barbecue, but that Derby morning we buried her. And it was crazy. I'm gonna move on, and this is like, man, my mother was a good wife. She took care of all of us. I was probably the wildest kid, but two of us graduated from college. My sister that's 3 years older than me and myself, and those other four, no, those are degenerates. They didn't graduate. They didn't, they went to college for a semester or something. Some of them, not all of them. But everybody was able to get married. My brother, he's the total opposite of me. He's a simp. Terrible. But he's a bad one too, because he let the snow bunnies and everybody just walk over him, just slap him with it's just wild. But, I just look back at those times, they was great moments for me. Just spending time with my mother, and she just talking to me about treat people with respect. Don't let nobody disrespect you. She cooked without hesitation. I never went without a meal. And then back in the day, women would cook in like seasonal cook, like whatever was good for that season, they could handle that shit. My mother could make some chili out the world. And I don't know what part of the country y'all from, but if you just eating chili with beef and beans, you ain't never really had no chili. Some good chili got that chili con carne in it and that spaghetti noodles. Take a whole meal and feed an army with it, especially if you season it right. And sometimes it sit the next day. And my mama, she was making pots. We had pots of stuff. And she worked at General Electric, so everything we had was GE. We had the microwave connected to the stove before it was even in the streets, about 4 or 5 years before. We had we had a dishwasher. We never used a dishwasher. My mother believed in using washing with hands. I done had what, 3 dishwashers, and I ain't never used none of them. Still have paper in them. I've always washed dishes by hand. I've always liked women that wash their dishes by hand. That's just me now. Dishwasher's cool, but yeah. As far as if I'm gonna eat off something every day, I'm gonna use my hand. That's just me. I saw my mother use her hand. She's like, I ain't using no damn dishwasher. Hell. And then we had 2 washers and 2 dryers, all connected. My mama, she was funny because she didn't say a lot, but if I did something stupid, oh my God, she would just go off. But it was in a good way though. It'd be a way, especially, when I was a kid, I really can only recall probably about 3 or 4 whoopings. One time I set the trash on before I stayed out to school. And she lassoed me with an extension cord. I tried to jump off the porch because I set the trash on fire. She woke up and smelled that shit. And I was like, tried to run out. No, she said no. Then she probably hit me about 3 times. Then she told me about the dangers of that shit. So I even never mess with lighters and matches, nothing. I ain't like to like fireworks or nothing. I wasn't scared of it. I just like, man, go ahead and do your thing. I just want to see the reaction of the explosiveness of the fireworks. That's it. And it was crazy, and my mother, after that, I never really got a whooping from her after that. That's the only one I can really recall. Might have been some more, but I really don't recall it. I remember I got and my mother, she was nice as hell. She used to buy her shit for Christmas. I don't know if my brothers and sisters ever asked for stuff for Christmas, but I never asked for stuff. I might see one little thing, but I never could make up my mind what I wanted. Cause I was a boy. I like football, basketball. I like to be outside. And then I feel like everything else gonna keep me in the house and I can't figure it out. And they used to just get me shit. Shit, I guess the new stuff that was coming out, because again, both my parents worked. We had two cars, but we didn't. My father wasn't thinking like financial and all that. My mother, she could hustle. She could hustle. She could save that money. But when I was growing up and they used to give me stuff for Christmas, I used to always get the best shit. I had racing car sets, the electric kind. I had train sets because my father worked for the railroad when he was younger. I would have like I remember having the Stretch Armstrong, the GI Joe, and y'all younger folk, y'all know there was a black superhero doll, and that was the GI Joe, a black dude, light skinned, had a beard, and made me look good when I was a kid. I'm like, yeah, they try to whiten him up now, but back in the day, you can tell who he was. It was a straight brother. So, and I used to get those toys. Then when I got an electric pinball machine, a handheld. It was probably it seemed like it was big enough for me because my hands have always been nice size, but it was sturdy. Instead, I kept it shit all through high school till I went to college, and everything my parents got me. I remember, like I said, we had plenty of 10 speeds, bikes and shit. My mother would always have it. We would get clothes and stuff. I don't think my father contributed to too much because my father, he was used to be out in the streets tricking his money off. So, but I think my mother did get him together in times to make sure we had what we needed. And I remember 16, she got me a moped. That was the greatest thing ever. And my mother couldn't even ride the damn thing. I tried to let her ride. She failed. Well, she wanted to ride. She said, let me go ahead, Mom. But Mama, don't hit the thing. First thing, she probably went about 20 feet. Not even 20 feet, shit, probably. Soon as she took off, but she's like, okay, I ain't got to ride. And I rode that thing everywhere, all over. Used to be across the bridge, used to be everywhere. And it was fun, too. It was fun because I would run into guys that I played basketball with. And, even if they was on a rival team, then I would run into some guys that I play football with, and it was just always a cool environment. We would hang out. The weekend, everybody was big boy, big girl. That's what I liked the weekend. She would always tell me, don't go out there getting no trouble. And then once I turned 16, shoot, my parents, it's like they let go of the ropes. I was coming in the house at 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning. I could sometimes, this is no lie, a couple times my father would be going to work. Sometimes he work on Saturday. He like to get some overtime sometime. So he always had good hours like 8 to 4. So he's like, shit, I can knock it out all day. So some Saturdays he would be going to work and I would be coming in the house and we would walk right past each other. Boy, where you been? Oh, I've been around the corner. Just doing too much with my little high school girlfriend. Just doing too damn much. My grandmother had an apartment over our house. Of course, doing too damn much. But, my mother, she always, spoke to me real. I give a lot of who I am and, success in my life to her, even though I had a father. And when I used to work with the youth and even grown men, I used to ask them questions. Who would you rather have? A father that's an alcoholic and not really giving you no attention, or a father that's not there? And you just had to, and more than half would always say, I'd rather have a father that's not there because they wouldn't understand the issues of dealing with a father who has substance issues. And my father could drink a lot. It's probably why I don't drink that much. 2 beers, I'm good. And that might be 3, 4 months in between. I used to try to drink. I ain't gonna say try to drink. I was being a teenager. Back in the day, we could go buy alcohol at 17, 18 years old. Didn't have no ID or nothing. But my mother always told me, if you get caught, don't call me. Okay, Mom. So I never got caught. Even my friends, we never got caught. But it was that time. And we used to go to it was a liquor store owned by the police. So if you wonder how we pull it off, because we was acting a little mature, that's all. And my mother, she would babysit people's children. And she was one of those mothers like, baby come over here crying, she'll let the baby just lay on the floor. And one day I asked her, Mom, why you do that? Boy, it's good for the baby's lungs. The baby will be strong. And every child she did like that. Every time I used to see them, especially when they had their little growth spurt, I used to be like, dang, y'all bigger than me. And I ain't talking about fat big. I'm talking about tall, like big, bony type kids. Like, wow. And that's how I tried to be. That's how I even try to approach even young people who don't even know which way is up and down. Just invest in yourself. Don't beat up on yourself. And my mother always preached that to me. She was always preaching that to me. And when my father was out there in the streets, my mother still was being, what the title say, she was still being a wife. She took care of her children. She didn't complain about it. She knew my father. I guess she probably knew my father was on some bullshit, but she didn't get it from me. And then when my younger sisters got her, they used to just take my daddy's money and blackmail his ass. He loved them. They blackmailed him, but I just didn't tell my mom. I couldn't even break her heart like that. I couldn't even do it. And then when she got tired, she did what she had to do. And my father, he was a strong guy. He just passed January. And our relationship wasn't even that bad. And I never disrespected my father. I put money in his pocket for the rest of his life. I never disrespected him. I cursed him the latter years, in my 40s, when I realized that he was talking against me to the people that's supposed to love me. And they was letting everybody, it was all through family stuff. But because I met people who not even related to me, and they're the greatest people in the world. I would give everything to support them. I've met a lot of beautiful people along the way in my life. I've been mistreated by the opposite race, but that didn't make me or break me. Well, I'll say it made me, it just didn't break me. Because here I am now, years past that, and I can say, man, okay, that was a good fight. Way to hang in there. Way to not get down on yourself. And I look back, and a lot of things that I started to own for myself and wanted to be a partner of mine was my mother. I had my list, as we would say, have a list. Listen, I came out and stopped from 9th grade, I think about 10th grade. 5'9" 3/4". I was 185, 90 pounds coming out of high school. Very little. I never had a stomach. You should get a stomach when you're over 50. A little bit. It can't have no rolls. It's just hard fat that I got. And that was it. I never thought about, whether or not I have a problem with females or not. Because in my younger days, I made sure I had everything I needed. And just because I went somewhere doesn't mean that I always wanted something from that place, because I didn't want to show off for nobody. And I never, my mother was the one that taught me, never let nobody count your pockets, ever. I picked that up early. So she was just being a mother. She was just being a wife, so I can appreciate her for being who she was. And I can definitely thank God for allowing me to find the person that I needed to have in my life so I can just continue to be the best version. So I'm just grateful for that. So we see the title, a wife. A wife is just so, I don't know, a wife is just so unique. It, she just like a complete woman almost. It's just almost a complete woman, and it's like you can't really say what you know, I'm acting funny over here, messing with stuff. And, you know, again, it's a unique character of being a wife, very unique, and I just, even looking at the letters, back to that, 4 letters. And I just broke them down and used the word wife as an acronym. So if I'm going to look at the W, is someone willing? Is she willing to work with you? Are you willing to work with someone? Let's just say you don't want to work with a man because women have the option. Are you willing to work with a woman? Is that woman willing to work with you? Are you looking to do that actually? Because again, a lot of that plays into whether or not you're going to be a wife. Are you going to connect to people who are willing to work with you? Are you willing to fulfill your role in the marriage? Because there's a difference between a relationship and a marriage. A lot of people are afraid. They feel like it's not beneficial. But that's where the trick bag comes in. It's the most prominent way to be successful. But maybe we, as a nation of people, just are too, I don't know. Maybe we just probably the weakest, the most fearful. I know we put ourselves down a lot. So even a wife, are you willing to be the best version that you could be for yourself? Are you willing to say, I want something different and it starts with me? Are you willing? It's a whole lot of willings to it, and it's universal. It can apply to everything in your life. And not saying it's bad, and not saying it's good. It's just wherever you are, you can look at it for what it is and move accordingly. The next letter in wife is I. Are you inspiring? Do you inspire listen, can you inspire yourself? That's a big one. Can you inspire your children if you have children? Can you inspire your friends? Can you inspire others that you may be in contact with? Can you inspire yourself is really huge, really huge. And again, it's a unique thing that when we speak on just especially black women, everybody they always look at, and I hope people don't look at it as a slap in your face. I really hope and pray that that's not the case, because that is one of the greatest, I would say one of the greatest entity that could build a nation of wealth and wealth of a nation, men and women, to be able to have prosperity. We in America, and we situation being here. And again, because when you the word, even if I was to take the wife out and put partner in there, because that's the word that they allow the sex relationships to use, is partner, right? Let's just say that. Let's just say some women say partners within the man. Okay, let's just say that. If you are with a partner, that means you're looking to invest something. And in your investment, the way other races, the investment's not 100%. Everything outside of that 100% is your own creation, is your own that. And then if you can decide to say, okay, we're going to live within our one, and if I come in with income, which one can we live off? What is our individual spending? It's a whole breakdown. You had big draws come on and bring points to your children at 18. It can sit up the table. You're still eligible within the society to get out and make a living. And so can you inspire yourself? Can you inspire your children? Can you inspire those around you? And sometime in inspiring yourself, you have to break away from the things that sort of, put you down, around, that you are seeing. And you just have to move in a certain energy. The word F. Forgiving. Giving. Do you forgive others sometimes? Now, some things, it's just very simple to me as far as things that I can't forgive, especially if I'm invested. Because even if I do something that would be, against all that you believe in, I would expect for you to dismiss me too. I would. If I was to go out and cheat on my wife, I would expect for her to be like, okay, nigga, I'm taking all your shit. And even with that, it really couldn't happen. But I could, in my mind and my belief, like, okay, I got to regroup. Take time, to maneuver through it and start anew, not over, anew. It's a difference. You don't necessarily have to start over. You can start anew. Or could she forgive me if I did something stupid? Could she forgive me? So, it's just part of that forgiving. Will I forgive her for some things? Yes. Some things I may not. So, will you be forgiving? Will you accept forgiveness? Will you forgive yourself? Will you forgive yourself? Don't be so hard on yourself. Don't be so hard on your children. If they do something like silly, where, then that's different from they doing something that infringe some hurt or pain on somebody else. And that's a different type of, I'm going to get in your backside. Or if they do something to lessen themselves, you can lessen yourself. You can't allow your children to let themselves. So my last letter is E. It's E. Are you in it for the long haul? If you was to get married, when that time would come in your life, would you be in for the long haul? Would you be in it for the long haul? Probably one of the greatest things. And I'm not telling nobody how to be a wife because I don't know how to be a wife. I can't tell nobody how to be a wife because, again, my wife is the wife. Maybe she could be better in explaining that, but me, I'm not trying to explain how to be a wife. That's not my role. But my role could be to say, okay, based off of what I believe, and if I feel it, I haven't read it. Based off what you feel that you haven't read it. And then what you read and what I read and what we come to agree on, that's where we can have a better understanding of what the role is of both you, the wife, and me being the husband. Because we both have to read both sides of it to get an understanding. And my job is not to explain what it means until, we can find the actual meaning of what's supposed to be, which is unique because when I stepped into this marriage, I never saw it coming. I never saw it. And I think it was probably the greatest move I did at the time. And just being around my wife and listening and see how she works hard to protect, not just, it's not things but protect me and things she care about. That speak volumes. Unless she, I think somebody that's throw, I would think that she's it for the everlasting moments of what we have left together. Like even today, with everything that happened earlier, it was her being, the best version of a wife that she could be. She didn't panic. She just jumped in and, did her part. If I gave some directions, she just moved in that way. And the first thing out of her mouth is, the teamwork makes the dream work. I was like, cool. Because she know I get it. If I see something I got to, like, right there, emergency, oh my God. I'm all over the place. But I'm always thinking, though. I'm just not in a panic. I'm always thinking. And I'm talking out loud. So I think that she brings that to me, that it's almost like it is, I feel like it's everlasting, whether it is or not. And if, like I said, if something happens, would be just amazed. If something turned for the worse at this point, we both over 50 now. We've, we still talk to each other and, we date a little bit. A date to my wife is riding around in the car for about an hour, and that's it. That's a date. It's crazy. A date with her is going to the military base, hanging out over there. So, it's just a unique spot right now. I think a wife is a very unique person, very unique creature. She's in her true essence. She is. I believe that's someone who's in their true essence. I believe it benefits the whole community. It probably would benefit the world if we could have those type of relationships within our whole community. Most people would differ, and that's okay. But then you got to look at what really happens in those lives too. Who's changing for the better? Who's taking advantage of opportunity? Are the children growing, stronger, smarter, faster? As people starting to take advantage of skill sets, creating products and producing for themselves and to barter with other people. And I think a wife is probably outside of the husband going and conducting the business and doing the movements and things like that, the hauling and shipping. I think a good wife could be that, that I guess what is the office general in a sense, be the organized general. Everything is organized based off the wife organization. I really do think that it could happen, but it's just right now everything's in the gray. Nobody wants to be in their role. Everybody's looking to fight by themselves. And to me, everybody loses in that fight. Without a man being a husband and without a woman being a wife, again, everybody's not going to be a husband. Everybody's not going to be a wife. But I've always believed that a man should move as if he is a husband, and a woman should move as if she's a wife. I do. You can't control whether or not somebody likes you for where you are in that time. You can't control that. You can't control how you look. Hell, I'm ugly. I got moles. My mama gave me the moles. My daddy didn't have none. I wear glasses now. I never wore them until I turned 45. And I think, just based on me being a man, I have to continue to try to just be the best person I can be. Can't please everybody. You can apologize to people 1,000 times. But I had to continue to be the best version I can be. And I'm thankful that at that time when I was being a best version of me at that time and moment in my life, then somebody saw something good enough in me. And then when I paid attention to her, I saw the good that she brought to the table. And I was put at the head of the table. And I ran with it. Oh my God, I ran with it. Ladies and gentlemen, please hit the like, share. Hit the like button, ladies and gentlemen. Hit the share button, ladies and gentlemen. Hit the subscribe button, ladies and gentlemen. Again, hit the like, share, subscribe to Trey Ferker, the Player Coach, ladies and gentlemen. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm also going to switch the stage a little bit. And we're just going to get into our main topic of the day, ladies and gentlemen. You see me here. You see I have a Bible with some hearts coming out of it. I don't know if I used this as my background last time, but, I looked at this and I'm like, man, we as a nation of people, we use the Bible as references. Some people can go right to a reference and give you these great soliloquies and these great animated stories about it and just give you a whole lot of, just make it seem like a great movie. And some people can use it and benefit themselves and benefit everything around them. Some people can use it as a weapon. Some people use it for power, which is the unique thing about this one. I would say, what is it, parable? This unique style of parables. We as Asian people, I believe most of us were indoctrinated into Christianity belief. A lot of us, grew up believing a certain aspect of the Bible. Again, my grandfather was a pastor, a Pentecostal pastor. I never saw him preach. I was there in my house. He could have came and get me. He never came to get me. My father didn't even go to church. He hated the church. Me, I was indifferent. what made people scream and holler for something that they couldn't see. I was like, what they looking at? What they screaming at? And when I came into my little teenage years, I had a awakening. I think I was about 12, 10. Let me go back. I had a cousin, and he passed away. I was 12. I was 12. He passed away. I never went to the funeral. My parents didn't even ask me to go to the funeral. They never even talked to me about anything regarding the funeral. All my family went, all of my sisters, I was at home, I was about to. They ever said, we go to the, they knew that I knew something. I knew he was passed away. They knew that I couldn't see him. I don't know why. And he passed away. He was 2 years younger than me, one of my favorite cousins. Because everything I liked, he liked to do. And he wasn't afraid of nothing. And when he passed away, my life changed after that. Again, my father, he was doing his thing. I was the middle child. I just used to see stuff what it was. I saw people for what it was. And the one person that could always bring me back was my mother. She was that one person that would talk to me and keep it real. And when we had real conversations, she would never curse at me. Her voice was always nice and calm. And I asked her 100 questions, and it just get to a point where she like, boy, leave me the hell alone, get the hell out of my damn face. Matter of fact, go in there and do this for me before you leave. And I would go do whatever she asked me, get her some water, some drink. My mother liked Pepsi's or sometime. And she would go and come back home. Shit, a couple hours later, whatever we was eating. And she made enough for everybody. We always ate good. Oh my God, we always ate good. So, I think if I were given an award to being a wife, my mother would definitely get an award for being a wife. Definitely. Even despite my father's bullshit. Because he did that from the time I can remember. I guess around, 8th grade, 9th grade, I started to really see like, oh, this nigga's on some bullshit. My father was on some that shit. And I was his son, his first son. Well, his only son, really. I did everything he did. Went to high school. I was an average, decent student. I could have been better student. I was recruited to play at the school he graduated from, and he was all state. But I went to school, my friends, my scholarship wasn't as good as it could have been. So went to a little NCAA Division 1A, hurt my knee, and had a strike. Mom was like, so what you gonna do? He go get you a job if you gonna be up in here. So I tried that for about 1.5 years. I'm like, oh man, I ain't gonna do nothing. She's like, well, what you wanna do? My friend went to the Army. She threw me a party. She's like, you going too? And once I went and got away from home, and went to the Gulf War and saw that, how the world was actually different from what America is saying. I used to tell my friends all these stories about what we in today, and they used to say, nah, man, they never believed me. And now they look like, man, you predicted it 25, 30 years ago. I'm like, yeah, because I seen the switch. And it came on when I was young. And after that, I just moved according to my own, what is it, according to your own beat of your own drum? Yeah. I didn't try to wrong nobody. I didn't try to cheat nobody. I wouldn't let nobody cheat me. If I couldn't barter with nobody, I didn't let people just hanging out in the community and, understand my pockets or whatnot like that. I never, asked women to buy me shit. Never that. But I wasn't out here buying women shit like that either. They didn't belong to me, or it didn't belong to them, so that didn't count. Now it's different. I don't have to walk around with cash anymore. Well, I might keep $20, and that's gonna be broken down, but that's about it. That's about it. I'm not doing that. I don't need to do it. but I know it took hard work and it took time. And I do think that by me getting married at the time, I think it took my life to a whole nother level because it took me outside of the hustle and bustle of moving around in the streets. I could sit and think about things as far as in perspective down the line, down the future. And she came in running 100 miles an hour, making sure that I was taken care of. She was playing those roles. And one of the things she used to always tell me was like, I was sent to her by God. I don't know. I ain't think so. I don't give myself enough credit, but shit, at least somebody wanted to be with me. And that brings me to my first verse of what a good wife is made up of. And we see this and people discuss this as probably one of the bases where I think men struggle because they feel like that this is really true. And you would say creator's design. Who's the creator? You can say God, Jesus, Yahweh, Yahuwah, Muhammad, whoever the creator is. It still confers to a woman based off the design of the vision. And people could argue that that God is a woman. So that means a woman understood that a woman needed to have something a little tough. That's them ribs. See, because from a man's rib, then it had a little toughness. Because see, some of y'all got ribs now. You get hit in the ribs, you still be okay. It's a little toughness. Has some meat on it. Some people got meat on their bones. Some of us got too much meat on our bones, and that's men and women. But we still got them ribs because the ribs is the package. The ribs hold up your whole body. Then you got the shoulders connected to it. So just by design. And again, I'm not going to go into details of the information of the Genesis second chapter, 18th chapter, second chapter, 18 verse, 24th chapter. You gotta, and the 24th verse, you gotta go read it for yourself. Just read it. And if you can apply it in any capacity in your life, just try to apply it and see how it works. Sometimes, a lot of time, I would say about 80% of the time it'll work, if that time in your life. If it's not for that time in your life, then it may be something that you struggle with. Yeah, it may be something, but by design, y'all came from us. That's like we supposed to be Siamese twins, connected right there at the rib. That's how we're supposed to be. A man and a woman, especially a big nose man and a big nose lip. A big lip woman of that DNA, ancestry DNA. We're supposed to be joined at the ribs. But maybe I don't know. So in Genesis, second chapter, verse 18, verse 24. Just read it. The next one would be a unique one because now you're talking about wife search. That's why it's both a man that, because a man has to be in a position to be searching for a wife. And let me be honest. When I say man, I'm not talking to somebody 21, 22 years old, 23. He ain't ready to be a husband. He's not ready to play his position. Now, most are. And I would say, if I was to look at the numbers, I would say less, about 45%, because most have never seen or really had discussions on what it takes to be that guy. What it takes. He's still young. I think for the most part, a lot of young brothers don't choose careers early enough. Because they career enough. and not looking for the money, but looking for the skill. When they get 30, 35, they could change the world for themselves. And, you know, so, but as far as a wife search, you know, a woman has to be preparing herself in that capacity. And what amazes me about this whole thing is that even young women, and again, I say this about the same thing, man, but as a young woman, let's just say you have no children, you live your life, you paying your bills, you got your own house, your own car. Man, you could just figure out a way to just, I don't know, believing in the propaganda of beauty is. Everything's the best you. Now, I ain't talking about you, know what I'm saying? But especially if you've always been able to move around and run this spot, that spot, show up, you know, to get together and kicks and all that, you should be in your best shape. You should be smelling your best too. Really, it's just part of being in there, and be nice to people. Y'all take y'all madness out on everybody. Y'all take it out on y'all friends. If y'all mad at something, y'all get your friends out. Which is ultimately, guys don't, it'd be wild west every day if guys, you know, just cursed each other out and disrespected each other like that. For some odd reason, these, you know, I don't know. It's just weird to me. Not every woman does it, but hell, y'all bullies, some of y'all be bullies. And that's not really helpful or beneficial to you or your children. You get respect. You can make that, make them get that, but sometimes, you know, just bullying it through, it never works for a woman. Again, in Genesis chapter 24, verse 14, you know, just prepare yourself. And then say you don't get married. Present your best self. Make a dude wish they could marry you. And you be like, no, I don't make wish they be like, yes. Are you in that infinity? Just because I called you out your name, you still stay wife. You still say that. A partner. Let's just say partner. Because again, we seem to be using partner. Get your partner. They should always be like, they should always respect you. But if it's bullying, then at some point, I don't know if y'all still be around, I think all done left, but y'all children may read a Bible that says partner. I don't know, but again, everybody seems to have us. These words, they may be words that say partner. And then it's going to indoctrinate more lower class citizens be confused even more. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. So again, these are just things that you can look at. As far as, you know, a woman, regardless of what age, apply if want to or not to see if you are in your life. And if so, you could probably, you know, take advantage of it. Use it to your. So again, always prepare for such. Before to that, ladies, use the like, share, subscribe button. Again, ladies, hit the like, share, subscribe button. The first coach again, hit the like, share, subscribe. Forget the coach, ladies and gentlemen. Husband's involvement, wives contracts. Numbers 30, 10, Numbers chapter 30, 10 to 15. And if you look at it, just that chapter, you know, speak to what the topic is. Words. Contracts. Contracts, basically business deals, where you can add something or contribute something to the unity of marriage. If I sign a contract doing something that I want to make something that will benefit family. If my wife, and this is unique because if my wife goes out to make a deal, which again, it could be out of order, and she doesn't bring that information to me before she makes a deal, then that's completely out of order and will basically bankrupt the whole family. Because if you're out working and you're out amongst the people and an opportunity comes up on you, that's when you take that direct contact and connect them to the husband and let that be a part of the deal process. Then you make a decision to do it on your own. And then goes awry, then jail. But just like even for husband, there should be some deals that could, as far as the contracting, that's why it's great if you're working with a husband. You can do the contracts together and use for, two sets of eyes to figure out the best outcomes for the family. And that's part of that, you know, contractual effort between the two parties involved in the marriage. So if some information comes to me and I'm reading it, I'm like, okay, hold up. So now I can put another set of eyes on it. And knowing that's my wife, she gonna look at it like with a fine tooth and comb to say, oh, okay, we can benefit her, we can't here. How can we do it? Okay, can we get the benefit from them? Or can we come up with it ourselves? She does that. I'm not involved, and then she just say, oh, I made a deal today. Then that's order. That disrupts the whole construct of what the husband and wife is. And it creates bad numbers. See the title, it's part of it. Yes. You can be out because if you're networking anyway, within the community and it's different, even at work, other opportunities come about. If you got a guy, he's working a job or something and he hears of an opening and he qualifies for that, bring that information. If you have opportunity for your children to participate in certain things within the community and you get that information, you bring it home and you bring it to your children. Allow your children to see it. It'll benefit everybody. And again, it's just about taking advantage of the opportunity, bringing information to us and to the wife, bringing it to the table. Getting our children to go out and see and listen for opportunities and bring it to the family to see if that's something that can benefit everybody. But sometimes even with our children, they can learn from outside of us, especially when it comes to something to make them more successful. I think that's always a great opportunity, great option. So, but this is a unique space. I know this topic right here is probably the most negative topic I can ever discuss. But I hope that nobody looking like I'm attacking and saying that you can't do shit. No, that's not the way I look at it. That's not the way my approach is. My approach is that despite of where you are, go look and try to see what some of the foundational can be. You can at least from the technical side says. And when it comes to husband and wife, it starts with the Bible. And then you can look up the laws that come within that contract within the marriage. Because when you get married, you can have more than one contract. So, and if they both are, all of those deceptive things that will break up the unity will eventually come forward. Hopefully sooner than later. You will want to know early within that type of life that it's not going to work out. And I feel like just based off what I experienced out at 56, and we both over 50, no, we don't have that. Well, I don't qualify for a lot of this shit. I'm too old for it. I can't run around like that. My eyes ain't the same. My blood pressure ain't the same. My football injuries and military injuries ain't the same no more. So I'll be a fool to say, okay, I'm going to chase. No, couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. So, any information that I get that's going to benefit everybody, bring it to my wife. Because I know she's going to protect everything. Everything she gets, opportunity, she brings it to me. Whatever changes, she's always updating me. And it can pertain to anything. So out in the community. When you're out in the community, because you think y'all sign contracts on a lease. You get your old lease for your fancy apartment, sign the contract, and somebody ain't tidy with the money like should be. You find out after you signed a bad deal and the numbers wasn't right before they deal. So partners, y'all got to sign contracts together. Or not. You don't have to. You don't have to. Just hope that both of y'all's health maintains prosperity. Because if anything happened and you've invested all that, it can come back to haunt you. Sometimes even with, you can have insurances, but it involves a lot of maneuvering, a lot of verbiage. A lot of times the verbiage you up. If you don't have a professional verbiage, it can really get you caught up in people who you didn't think should have got it, go get it, and it just be a whole bunch of mess. It's never happened to me personally. I've known people where they, again, thought that they had stuff now based off their own understanding and backfire. So just really, really be careful. And just like, if you're in this situation, you're moving in this capacity, make sure that everybody's informed on what is happening in and outside the house or the apartment or everybody's, even the children sometimes, even the children. So this is a new just 14 versus 11. Miles, these are cunning strategies. See, a woman's strategy is a gem, the way she maneuvers and manipulates things, involved in manipulating or persuading someone to do what one wants. In a sense, she didn't employ any feminine wild capture his attention, meaning she didn't do anything cunning or anything persuading. She didn't drop little clues and cues to get his attention. She just, this is, again, a person that's not so much trying to show much of her physicalness. Because if someone sees you and you can see her physical build from a distance, that's not manipulating. It could be persuading, but then like slick on the side, like you have to rub up against somebody or something like that to get somebody to look at you. They can look at you based off what you have on, what you are. And 99.9% of the guys know, again, we all love physical first. We love physical. We love the physical. Your face can be a 4, 3, 2, 1. Like somebody to go. And y'all ladies, some of y'all believe I have the face and the body. And boy, y'all will be manipulating and persuading. As far as Jim's strategy, y'all strategize. Yes, ma'am. The strategizing is there. But as far as the gems, it's hard. Sometimes y'all take away from your ability to be a gem because y'all use it in the wrong way. It's right sometimes, and it hurts. I know the pain hurts. I know the pain hurts. I know somebody be in pain. Not so much physical pain. Y'all doing more physical pain than any other human race. The system. The mental anguish and mental pain gotta be rough on y'all. I know rough on y'all. I know it's rough. So there's a big word within itself. Vows of new bride. It's a new bride. That's how you become a bride. You just do some strategizing. Manipulation is not necessarily always a bad word. It's necessarily a bad word. Not at all. And persuading is not always a bad word. Just because you persuade people to do certain things, it can benefit everyone. Manipulation depends on the context. Both are the same. As far as context, it depends. But manipulation is sort of to me, is an advantage to try to take an advantage. If I manipulate you to do something, I'm trying to steer you a certain way. It's more derogatory in the sense of persuading. It's the same thing. I'm doing something to you to move or think and act a certain way. And a lot of times, unfortunately, when it comes to two individuals, those words are used negatively upon the other person. It may start out, but a lot of times it ends up in a negative context. Or they manipulate me to have sex, manipulated me to get pregnant, stuff. She persuaded me. But those are strategies, though. See, those are strategies, whether you see them or not. Are they gems? No. They're not gems. It's not beneficial. And I just want to, just talk wiles of a new bride. It's probably one of the unique assets a woman can possess. It's probably one of the unique assets. Taking that she's looking to be a wife or a partner. Even when y'all hook up with y'all partners, don't y'all manipulate each other. I would love to go about their little wows. I would love to hear about that. How do they y'all let each other? Or is what they say? Is it the way they smell? Is it the same concept with a man? Is it the scent of a woman? The touch of a woman? the tone of their voice, before we even put our hands on you. That's the thing. That's the way I can look at it for myself. I've always looked at it before to touch a female, a woman, a girl when I was a kid. What that I can visually see and I can hear. I wasn't gonna taste it. I can see it, I can smell it, I can hear it. If it didn't sound like the way I just dismissed it. If it didn't sound like this, and when I say smell, it's like you walk past, you be like, oh, okay, that smells nice. Stuff like that. I'm like, ooh, okay, maybe it was a gym today. Or whatever. But I didn't say, oh man, she stank. I just said what I smelled, come and move on. I didn't make eye contact. I didn't do nothing. Again, did I see it? How does she look? Ooh, she pretty. Ooh, I like her. She got a nice body. Ooh, she pretty and she nice. Ooh, Lord, she pretty and she's slim. Ooh, I like that. That's me. I see it. I can see that. I look at toes, everything, fingernails, all that. If a woman had little nub fingernails, if her fingernails look worse than me, I play football. I bit my nails. I used to bite my nails, but I never bit them down. I don't know, it was just something that it. And even women say, my nails and even male or female. But the nails at least are nice, and I don't go, pedicures, manicures. I don't do none of that. Got to do what I do it myself. That was all that whole dynamic. If I can see it, if I can smell it, if I can hear it. How did you say voice? What things do I hear you saying? I'm not eavesdropping, but listen to certain cue words. I was all big on that. What are cue words? Cue words to me, trigger words to me is bitch, hoe, motherfucker. Those are cue words to me. I don't care about if you use the word ninja. I don't care about the word. Because sometimes that need to come out of me or you to get the job done. So, you look at that. But as far as bitch, hoe, you know what I'm saying? Like, just all the derogatory words that women say and men do, as far as we call them, those is all red flags to me. If I heard women talking like that, I just, like, she fine. That's just, and it's unfortunate because I understood that she's gone through some things that I couldn't even relate to. She's gone through some things I can relate to as far as working in that field. Like, man, I pray that she can have a change of heart because it changed her life when she has to change her heart. And it's just what you need at that time. So it's just how I always view women and navigate through it. If I can see it, if I can smell it, I can hear it. And then when the word taste come about, what's her food tasting like? Could she make a good something? And I don't know what the good something would have been before I make something. It doesn't matter what it is. She make a good, I don't know, pasta salad. Can she make a good, I don't know, peach cobbler or something? Can she make a good quilt? Because I like not just that cook, but also like somebody has some domestic like hobbies. Like, somebody can, I don't know if it was creating cups and shit. Stuff women like to do, stuff that glitter and shit. Shines. Can she make stuff like that? Weird stuff. That was just part of who I was. I don't know why. I guess growing up with, again, when I was sisters, my mom. So I think, women possesses these qualities as they grow older. I really do. I think that they develop qualities once they come to a certain age of your lives. A lot of them, are very devious in some capacity. If not guided, a lot of women's behavior become devious. If not given the right nurture a certain point in life. And cunning is just a way of maneuvering about the stages that you're in, whether at work, whether you're in a relationship with your friends, and just family members, all of that in that capacity. Strategies, what strategies do you use to just better self? The tales that are around you. Manipulating. Yeah. You can save something, try to manipulate the situation. If you do something, yeah. If you can, be persuading. Persuade the loved ones to be, and when I say persuading, it's not about trying to persuade somebody to do something that you want. But even if you understand the dilemma in life and they've explained it to you, try to see if you can help them strategize a way out. Because that could be a blessing that, that could come unannounced at some point because you tried to do something good. So the next thing on this list, is wife's insults. Like I said, it's 20. Wife's insults. Very, you know, as we hear in this space, the husband is not progressing in his career as he predicted and talked about. Maybe he started, I don't know, just going to use that as possibilities first. Maybe he started drinking, maybe started drugs, maybe he started cheating. Maybe he did all those negative things. Everything's on your list. I know I could probably not even get close to half yet. But everything that you see on the list that could possibly be detrimental to who you are, maybe he's there. But once you address it, you expect a change. Once you see the change, you dismiss it. Once you can live in the change. But what I mean by dismiss it is you don't just forget, you just keep your grade out and to it. But you still work. You make somebody. But you can't discuss it and then say, but see, still you. You shit. No. You hurt feelings. It was fucked up. Don't do this shit no more. Don't do it. Next time ain't gonna be the same. Let's say you say, you're like, okay, I took it. They ain't come back and like say, hey, look, I told you the disrespect cannot happen. And you have this. Time go by, you ain't seen nothing. This time he, I don't know, stayed out too. I don't know what he did. He did something stupid. And what I'll say this, he did something stupid, but his it's like his process was just fucked up at the time. I guess I have a hard time, but he was out somewhere, and it was some old high school friends or whatever that showed up at spot, and all the guys knew they knew each other, and somebody was over in the corner and they saw them sort of all greet, because you know how to greet. Sometimes they hug, sometimes maybe 3 or 4 of them hug them, just talking to him. He knew it was something he may have seen for a while. And some friends said something like, "Oh, I saw him with such and such." He was one of his friends. We bought things too. And then it was your friends, and she like, well, see, remember 10 weeks ago, years ago, you was with that, and you still like that. Right there created more attention because obviously the thing that happened prior to myself. It was a level of being uncomfortable. And in the process of the village, you had discussed. So I had a dream one time, it was messing around. I was only about 6 weeks. I woke out of a dream. As soon as I ran to her, I got it like it's really real in my hand. I said, "Come here, we talk." I said, "Tell me right now, you freak that's me." And she laughed. She like, "Baby, look, no." She said, "We're gonna be in the same life. Everything I got, you can have." She like, "You was thought you were?" I said, "Yes." Because I dreamed I kept trying to grab her. She was like, "What down?" I think she was walking too hard or something. That shit was weird. I was mad, like, man, if you don't let go. I was like, come on, just kept walking. I was like, oh man, what the hell is happening? And something we ended up laughing about. And she just gave me those words of affirmation. If it changed, hey, I don't know to worry about shit now. I'm not. But I see how she works hard for us to have everything we need. She breaks everything that we have. And we do have, like, disagreements or whatever. Don't make those and so, which I think is a good thing. But for people who are in this capacity, you gotta understand, when you hold on to those things and you don't talk it out, it could come back at some point. So, wife, again, you don't have to insult not just your husband, but those that are in your love circle. I don't have to belittle someone just for better. I'll make myself as if I'm a pedestal. I don't have to do that. And it's like, a husband shouldn't insult his wife for the daughters that she money pounds or, if it comes to something that takes resources out the home, yes, everybody has to be accountable. And it's not enough in the love circle, everybody be accountable. But just to insult somebody just because they may have gas need or, somebody losing a job or something that divides the whole unity, divides everything. So, again, wife's insults, 2 Samuel chapter 6, verse 20. And this is another unique one that I found to be probably, I think most men would not like to hear. I see why. I also believe that this applies to men who did not really understand what a wife is. And he could put him in a situation in one hand, but on the other hand, I think women, when they get to certain points in their lives, preferably maybe around mid-30s, like men, they come into that age of reason. I've seen it happen thousands of times with women in the early 30s. Well, it's pretty simple plan. Playing a sense of plan. It's a pretty simple, I guess, trail that's always left in the 20s, in the teens and 20s. A little promiscuous. It's a little promiscuous going on. You know, they're not learning a lot to, give up cake. They're not, they take on a lot of pain. Women, it's unfortunate that puts girls to give up their cake too early. It was a lot of trauma and pain. They haven't tenderized. By the time they're in their early 20s, they've had a lot of emotional strain, and sometimes with unhealthy diet and physical pain. You have a child that's both emotional and physical pain. I don't see any female creature in nature where the women, the females endure such pain. Hell, an elephant have been carrying it for 2 years, and for the most part, they're not in as much pain because think about it, they're standing up a lot of times. Can a woman stand up and have a child? I'm sure that, with some help. They don't get no medication. I don't know what they put the girls on. I don't know. Is that it? Maybe use the wrong thing, but it takes a lot to have a child in your body. It takes a lot. And I think that's where a lot of young men are getting a little confused if they indulge in this style too soon. But that's just the uniqueness of being everybody's on fire. All of those hormones and enzymes and neurons popping off in your brain go from size 16 shoes to a size 8. You go from having no knuckles to then you had 3 sizes larger. It's just a unique space. Even a boy can go from 5'6" to 5'12", 6 foot, or 5'4" to 5'10". It happens. My son never was size 9. He went from a size 8 to a 10. And all his limbs, I'm like, what the hell going on here? But he wasn't a stocky guy like me. He was slim. A bossy one. Anybody out here a boss chick? Yeah. Are you controlling everything in a good way where you mean everything that you control is thriving? You're in your home. Pretty much everything in your home you pretty own. I mean, you've had some type of boss qualities, so making sure your debts are your children well fed, well groomed. Do they sleep in a bed with a frame? Is your bed in a frame, on a frame, or on the floor? Do you pay your rent on time? You pay your mortgage on time? Do you borrow from Peter to give to Paul? Do you persuade others to contribute to your lifestyle? I don't know. Just asking the question. You only will. So think about that. Are you bossy to everybody? Or when time need, could you job that could benefit the entire family? Whether it's with the children, whether it's within home, whether it's outside the home, in the community, wherever you want to be, at work, or you represent in this quality. Not trying to have a come in over your husband just because of the way you feel or something that you can't have a liability device. Have more eyes on the product. And it's funny, even with this title here, Bossy Wife, look where it's located. First Kings, first mistake. So, would King accept Bossy Wife? I think not. Because when you talk this in terminology of kings are men, and Bossy Wife with this. And if you look at the way history was written, I know queens who were wives that were beheaded by the king just because she was a bossy woman. Yeah, that's the way it was. In Africa, they wouldn't have been by then. But in some countries, kings would behead their queen for being too bossy. It seems like a lot of negative about wives, but I'm aware definitely everything that I've pretty much touched on is a positive. It's just how can you apply this to your life? Let's just say the way like I say is at a person. Can you apply this to your life? Can you apply this to your life? And that's all about life. So you can support a so-called king in your space. And that king prepares himself daily to be a better king. It's the unification of it. A good wife in this context, if you want to say, if you get the word, I would say, not a wife, but a wife. Protective. I think that would fare a lot better than being a wife. I'm in a bossy life, but you're a protective wife. Because if you look at chess, who takes king in it? What's the one piece on the chessboard that puts the king in a position of favor? The woman. The woman does. The queen puts the king. Why do you think it's so much stress on the queen? Because if she's not the king, all hell falls apart. So we touched on some of the details. Again, the benefit again to be have a bossy wife. Someone's always explaining and giving direction without any meaning or context. Give benefits to everybody if there's an understanding of orders to be laid out and the process to handle those orders. Again, ladies and gentlemen, hit the share button, ladies and gentlemen. Hit the subscribe button, ladies and gentlemen. Trey Ferguson, the player coach. Again, hit the like, share, subscribe to Trey Ferguson, the player coach, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, again, we are talking about the wife. Some of the foundational assets needed to be your wife. Be the best wife version that you can be. Possibly the best outcome you need to be successful in your own life. And like this one right here. Be the favorite among many wives. 2 Chronicles chapter 11, verse 21. Be the favorite among many wives. Meaning that when you operate the way you move, yourself, with your family changes, it's always going to have favor. Whether you speak, read, logic, sometimes you may not be in the same capacity that you are. Always hold it. Always. So I understand, sometimes, that even in our space of living, sometimes we take on unnecessary burdens that are not covered. If you are a woman of that capacity, you could always offer words of encouragement among other wives to help them navigate through the stages and flows of being a good wife. The dedication to the family, not just up and down, our family. Putting the husband in place of the husband. And grooming everyone else to present that level of flow. From the head, the queen, to the children, to the pets, to the relatives. Because in your home, the pets come to the relatives. Because that's what protect you. And at least try to get you some assistance if you treat your pet right. So again, women looking to be wife or wife, it would benefit you to be favorite among any wives. Meaning your country, your family, stand out far beyond the average person and others can be celebrated. Okay, here's a big one. Influence of evil wife. Now, this is a big one, ladies. This is one I think a lot of women, unfortunately put themselves in a position. And this one could be detrimental to the entire home. Everything that you touch, everything that you put love affected by it. Everything that you're trying to protect and love could be affected by the influences of evil wife. 2 Chronicles chapter 21, verse 6. Influences of evil wife. Influence. You influence the children. You influence your friends. You influence your husband. All of your life circle, you have the power to influence them. The influence can be both positive and, as we see, negative. When we don't hold our children accountable, when we don't teach them anything like that time, I need time out to say, my son can't read. Let me sit down with him and help him read. Or I don't know if I have the option. Let me find somebody who can help him. My children not getting enough exercise. Let me take them outside and run, burn off his crazy energy. I love to my children. I'm going to do something fun with them. Small fun. Teaching them to make patterns. Teaching them how to just play something. Teaching them how to do some, vision boards. Anything. And pull up. Let them draw the funny characters and cut them out. And pull out for things without really, having to spend the money. But when she gets mad, who is she? She's not going to you. If she dismisses children, a lot of things within confines of a person that aspires to be wife. It's very, we all get upset, we all get mad, but it's a different level of upset. And I can manipulate something for a purpose. It not only affects you, but it affects the entire life cycle. It does. And it may not do it that same day. It may not do it, when a blessing presents itself, you can be denied. You can be denied the blessing. So if you do feel, a lot of go off what we feel, that you are starting to think in that capacity, speak to someone that can give you righteous advice. Do not speak to someone who may say, okay, go ahead and act on it, how you feel in your evil spirit. And that could be a detriment to you and your children and love circle. So you have to be wary of those type of behavior. You cannot put your mind evil thought process. You're already dealing with things that hurt. You have to deal with it. If you go through a place of evil, that may take you out of your process, and it could detriment your entire life and your children's life. Something that could probably never be broken. I've been noticing, that my eye is quirky today. This is a bad lie. I apologize again. This day was just a crazy day at the last moment. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to say hi people that helped in sharing. I just acknowledge these people. Again, I do apologize. Genesis 1, I appreciate you, love. I appreciate you. I do. I do apologize. I do appreciate it, though. Thank you. And yes, get on me. Get on me. Get on me. Remember what it is. Let me say it correctly. It is what it is, TV. Salute, brother. It is what it is. You know it. Man, I appreciate you, man. See, that's why man. I can't get it right on time. I'm putting out stuff I know people don't want to hear at time anyway. But that's okay. That's okay. I appreciate you, brother, man, for coming over, man. That means a lot, man. Appreciate you giving me a space to come up and just give my, my views and sometimes opinions and sometimes just understanding of what those rules are. I appreciate that, man. Dr. Fraser Frost, man. Come on, man. You like my nephew, man. I appreciate you, man. Here's got up on the name again, man. I appreciate you, man. I do, man. I appreciate you, man. And there's so much that going on that it's just, I don't know. I got to figure this out. I'm going to figure it out. Just I'm still learning, growing. I'll take the bumps and the bruises right now. That's what happened. Getting your mid-50s and trying to go back to something you're living off of in times a little different. I can take it. I'm built for it. I'm not doing it for myself. I'm for myself. And I appreciate the support from all of y'all, man. All of y'all, for real. All of y'all. I never forget this in this space and time. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me, ladies and gentlemen. Subscribe, subscribe, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to continue on down the list. Again, influences of e-commerce. Chapter 21, verse, ladies and gentlemen. Again, ladies and gentlemen, we have our next topic. This is why you to be put on, excuse me for pronunciation, refuse to be put on this Esther, a female. Esther 1, chapter 1, verse 9. And this is going to be, if you read it, you're going to see how this was very humble woman. And she probably could have had the benefit of the opportunity, but she deferred. I think it's where a lot of women out today, they will not defer. Women defer to the younger woman. Even if your daughters, the daughter could be exact replica of you when you're young in your fine days. You got out there being loose. Prince said that something loose. Before you get out there and was wild and loose. Y'all have a beautiful daughter right there. Smart. Smarter than you probably would ever have been in life. Young. She's not out there just disrespecting herself. I would not put her first. You jump in front of her and beat her down and tell her she ain't cute. She reminds you of her daddy. Yeah, all kinds of crazy goals on young girls. Like young 14, 15-year-olds about those. Why you tell me that? Like to show me. They want the kid had to come up with there's no way. I refuse to that. I can understand wrong. Wife's refusal to be put on display. Even me with my wife. Because some traditions will always hold true. If I'm out with my wife, she's always a step down, half a step. I'm gonna say a whole step, half a step. Always a half a step. And it's just not because I'm walking behind the protection. Just like we act like movie stars. I'm the bodyguard, scared hard. So she walks in orange, half a step. Her foot is going to land right in the center of my foot. I work 11 and a half. So I feel it's going to be written. And she doesn't like a lot of attention. She likes a lot of attention. My wife is pretty too. She's pretty. I'm asking, can I show up at some point? No time, some point. Conversations about a lot of stuff that I'm into. I'm always pretty much watching and listening around you. I see my crazy head pop up. I bring some of those conversations. And sometimes she don't, she's modern. We've all been my wife's very logical savvy. She got all the technology. All the hell I do is she probably be on 10. But me, I'm just working. I'm in a rush. I already put myself in. I can just wake up at 3 or 4 o'clock every day. Try to keep myself in shape. Get supply that we need. That's it. I have every little old head. Just running my life. Everybody, good, the bad, the ugly. And I say this about my father, even though he taught me work hard. He always said that to me, work hard. Don't let nobody tell you you can't do. Try to be best the way to do. That's what came from, I can remember. That's how I cut her. I asked my mother to put she got me as a at 14. I could have summer job. And this is new for her. I changed myself. Like I said, it's a straight razor. When I do my beard mustache, I just use the regular razor to like it, keep out groom myself. And my mother, she taught me how to be humble, how to be uh, open-minded, how to be getting care. My mother told me all of that. My father didn't mean none of that. He wouldn't give me none of that. My father wouldn't tell me about ladies or nothing, no money or nothing. I called my $10 out of my savings time. And I was rolling good. I was like, go ahead. How about you getting some money funds? Your ass work every day. Where your money at? But see, again, I knew what he was doing. I was probably about 15, 16. I didn't care. I mean, I think that's how I made, but I put the time he taught me for 85, 86, probably about 30, 35, I say. Me and my friends pulled up on something. Everybody, and my friends still do this today. We would pull out the same amount of money. If you didn't have it, then you're going to get the leftovers. You wasn't going to be in the first allocation. You was going to, all right, we got some leftovers over there. It's just the way we operate. Everybody not operate like that. But, out of a lot of compromises to help me and my friends not to have issues with each other about money. We had our different opinions about topics, sports, girls, or whatever. But it was never, hey man, can I get my 20, my 50, my 100? It was never that. Even the guys that hung around, I took pride in the fact that everybody wanted to get together on the weekend. And all of these guys had nice, everybody have a Miss Hawk. I don't know how, but everybody was fine. It was always to you, baby, honey, sweetie, you want something? And you was not dating. Even if your stomach was growling, like, can't eat over here, no man. And that's like 10, I know, unless it's like popsicle or something. Something gonna cool me off for summertime. If I take one of those. But as far as like some food, I never did that. My mother taught me not to do that because she always had with us, always. And then to the point I was a teenager, probably about 16. She cooked every day but Friday. Friday was her day. I'm probably was her day. Did he cook? You like, okay. And when we all were teenagers, by the time I was like 15, 16, my other siblings, they like 14 and up, 14, 15. Then everybody's had their little jobs and some, my mother knows she like, you know, food. And me, she would always want me to go get her some food. Go get me a fish sandwich around here. And I go get it. She like, buy it. Thank mom. And somebody like, it's okay, got it. She, that's so funny. My mother never said, thank you. She's like, okay, appreciate it. And I spun around her, or I get over until 10, I'm there every day. 5, 10 minutes. I actually like, I had to read most, I get over, look at it, lock the, make sure the wheels locked. I had Honda. She got me a Honda with paddock out of my life. I ran again. And all of it got sprees. They ran out of gas. They had to walk me. I could just paddle my way along. And I love that little bit. It had to just had them old plastic $2 down with that night mosquito thing. Whatever bug was flying in front of you that you was gonna hit. And you couldn't so you had to hurry up and get the words out. Yeah. Almost right there. If I get students. But by the time I got to high school, all those childish things were pretty much. So it just made situation. So again, I refused to be put on display. And mama never wanted to get the limelight. No, that's what was the thing that was she didn't want the limelight. She's pretty still in the back. It was looking back like, wow, mama, she's very humble. She was. And I think it's another one. I think this song got to the Nazi wife. Complain wife. Job's 2nd chapter, verse 9 to 10. Complain wife. Now, I could possibly struggle with this in the person that if my wife said I game plan to accomplish some things and I'm not putting forth the effort to take care of my, then I'm not working towards the unity to grow. So I can see that she can be on my back. Yeah, get that shit together. Okay. I can see, especially it's 3 days in the week and I haven't moved on. Then she be like, hey man, show what you got. All right, this is what I get. See what this is what I'm doing. She'll show you like, and like the husband, he's gonna show you what I'm working on. Whether you ask about it or not. Because if you ask about it, I'm taking steps necessary and bring those plans to you. Then you have another set of eyes and say, hey, okay, so yeah, this work, yes, this work, man, I don't know about this. What do you thought about something else? Or maybe I thought about this and everybody. So I made a mistake that is why she complaining. But then after the point thinking of music, what did I do? And that's different. Like you say, working. You take her, you take her home, and she's complaining the different things that she ain't got or whatever. That's different. And there's always something that is going to just you don't. But that's different. That's a different type of complaint. The children doing and that she had to do. That's a different type of. She's comparing you to other people. It's a different type of. Yes, nobody complains. Very on everybody circle. Taking the same issues outside home, complaining to other people. And this other possible and women, although it's the wise side, but it might doesn't. Do I take my issues that I have outside the home? Do I bring those things to the table? Have a discussion, come up with a plan, start applying that plan, and ensuring that again, our goals are being met, our tasks are being completed. So again, complaining, I lean towards just complaining this or just what others need to be compared to, or just not really wanting to contribute the entire benefit of the home. Because again, this affects The entire family play a role, even the children. Your school-age children, your children must grow too. They must ensure that they can go to school and be respectful and to learn and evaluate, grow. You know, they must learn to be able to read, write, arithmetic, must learn it. So, yes, in plain life, plain scary. As far as like you have to really get this applied to your life as possible and look at when you go to complain, whether the husband's complaining or wife complaining, what part of that complaint reflects on you. That's all. Just look at how it reflects on you. If it does not, then you bring it to the person's attention, and then you can bring it to the table to have a discussion and move according after the discussion is on the team meeting, whatever it takes. Also, it will be a fruit vine. Everything she touches turns to gold. Psalms 138:3. A fruitful vine. Everything she touches turns to gold. Okay. Which is very, very. She's taking care of the home inside and out. Making putting down bills husband. Ensuring that the children are well prepared. Be again, if a woman is moving into it, blesses her husband and propels him to be greater. Really, because as far as what you may be, as far as how you get mission with it, but for vine greater than flower. A lot of people just want flower, but the rose. If you think about a rose flower is probably in the top 2 or 3 as far as the prettiest flower. But the vine of the rose is the most unique. Just think about it. Roses have thorns on the vines. What you did wrong, it could poke you. But if you treat right, it will look pretty. And the uniqueness of being a fruitful wife. Everything that she touches stands out. Her children, her home, her husband, her friends. Just her physical self stands out. She shines differently among. I want to be close to her. You won't get to know her to some capacity, almost like in the entertainment world, but nothing. Because a lot of those individuals are self-gain. It's not for the benefit of the entire family unit. Again, these words you can apply to being a partner. Are you a partner that will ensure that your partner has everything they need? Or you can bring positive outcomes to the unity, to the partnership. See, this is like when you work away from wife, having a partner. Even in that project, are you the fruitful vine? Or are you just the fruit standing and look pretty, don't work for anything, not benefiting the overall growth of the unit? I can relate this. I think women could probably relate to this. Would it be the husband's round? Proverbs 4. Husband's round. Very unique. Husband's round. My internet, I know this could be a bad day just because my internet. It's getting crazy. Husband's round. If the home is thriving, the husband is working and productive, and the house is healthy, he puts you at the top in the role of a good husband to ensure that his wife can stay at the top, out of harm's way. His children are out of harm's way. Because he's looking at how the reciprocation love is being given to him. And he will put his life on that. He represents the family, representing the rest of his, and he will put you up in times of peace, but in the times of war, you must stand by him. I'm not about war, peace between the two of you. I'm talking about you two against the world. So you protect the king. Again, a queen protects the king. And he will put the king will, because he knows your value. And this is the role of husband to understand those moves that a wife would make to protect. And he will understand life. He will put his life on line for that value that you have. You, the children, the dog, and the cat. Because he understands that you have his back. When the world is against him and you, meaning when he's finished fighting the battle, when he comes home to replenish, he has everything to replenish. Everything. Food, high bath, Sophia, some cake, white children, Lord dog, all of us, something that takes all those things. And we're talking modern day now, a good little color TV, guy like some cigars and stuff like that. I never really been a cigar smoker. Like, I got I love that herbals. I love that. That's when I was young. I got. Yeah. But even me and him still respect this other space within that. I've always been like that. Even as a teenager. So I just carried a lot of things into my adult life. It kept me safe. Now, from my group of guys, and we just guys, yeah. But I ain't got kids. And if I didn't kids, I just had to dismiss them. When we all in, I bad mouth from them. Just I drink a cup of tea. I just sweet. I just want to. Just call right around. Just move. That's me. So it's not an argument. And that's what I feel about anybody. Your life before you meet, it's not an argument. I choose to do it. It's up to me. I'm gonna do things first. I can't make anybody about the past life. I can do it, make my decision, and move accordingly. That's it. So, I think with a wife and husband now, I think it's some use that you can have in you of husband and wife. Because you look at chess, queen protects the king. And that applies to how she presents herself to the world too. Don't put yourself in compromising positions where you jeopardize not only the king, but the entire kingdom. Because children, our lives are inside the kingdom, and they're doing things like that, then that could be a greater problem that you mentioned at the time. That's why when you're in the world, you have opportunities to make deals and be, as far as any resource, you have opportunity to obtain resources, give that to your husband or to your partner. Put another set of eyes on it so you can make sure all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed. So if we do, a lot of times we can just receive some of the simplest things. And if the Christian follows some rules written in this, you can call it a book, you can call it a key life, whatever it is, key manhood. We follow the good game, thank the Lord. We gain favor. I really think you're gonna gain favor on Jesus, Yahweh, Jehovah, all of that. You gain favor if you move on to the laws that are already written. I believe that's where we all struggle. Men, women, straight men, gay men, straight women, gay men. I think they all struggle with following faith. A lot of us will do what we want. And the first thing we'll say is, dude. I mean, we've thought about it. When I used to say that, well, I'm just saying, y'all done gave us dog. I would say the same, well, I'm a man. Yeah, I gave us dog too. I'm doing shit anyway. Pretty much. They make a bad sense. So, in lessons, plus not. But I think the biggest struggle could be that wherever you are, and you just have to do things your own way, and you can move past it, and you didn't get hurt, you didn't get in trouble, and it's all the same to work out. Once you get past it, you always got opportunity to move in that favor life. You always got opportunity. As you move in that, you start to get favor. You move in certain things, avoiding certain things, you start getting some favors. Everything starts to become abundant. Everything. You're not today. You become abundant. Focus on the family circle, the love circle, focus on your own physical and mental capacity. Despite what the world has going on, you will get favor. I'm telling you, you will gain favor. Even if people just blatantly disrespect you. You understand, you have to move accordingly. Let's cut them off, get them off your desk, walking around your stomach hurting, and your bowels locking up. You're not sitting around drinking yourself to sleep, looking at, crying, taking it down on people. Just address it to the individual or the entity causing those problems. Don't be afraid. And once you get it off your chest, don't be sorry yourself. Practice energy from that point on. Allow yourself to gain favor. I don't think we do that. We don't allow ourselves to gain favor because we understand what's right and wrong. But for some reason, we all use the excuse, well, I'm a woman. So I accept losing favor. I'm going against the solid belief that I have in doing what I want. But teach you favor. And not tomorrow. But again, when the opportunity is double, it may just pass the sofa. And now I was out of favor. I went through it just 2 weeks ago. Now me out. So you always have to be regardless of who you are. One, understand your mistakes. It's so hard on yourself. Don't be so hard on yourself. Two, don't allow others to sell your image. You got audience who always come around doing bloom and shit. And you had a good day. Your good day came over and a job out there. You think they can't have money. You made favors for it, eat that again. Or you done got it ready. You got it hard. I don't know, investment hit, whatever. You have to stay in positive. Don't allow everybody to steal your positive energy so you lose favor. Maybe it's just me. I don't know, ladies. Maybe it's the business like traffic to play like subscribe. So in this modern times, nobody wants to be a husband, wants to be a wife. But everybody is source here and see understand it. But yeah, against it. What did you need? Like call. Why some of us against it? Because again, word husband out of word wife out of. Put in your partners. Put in your partnerships. When you decide to be a partner in resources, whether you bring, okay, my resources have to give yours up to 40%. I bring your resources. Is it anything the entire love circle that you have? Or is it just not you at the time? If it's just about giving this lifestyle, it's not gonna work good. It work. But you're fighting against yourself. You're fighting all the time. You won't be nice. You hesitate a lot. You always say what somebody's gonna do. So again, a lot of this depends on your behavior. How do you move myself, your family, your friends, how do you move at work? How do you move in the community? So I would believe most of us will want to have favor. I believe most of us will. So a great life is to be a woman of noble character. The character, Proverbs 1:10-30, woman of noble character. And this applies as you interact with men and women. Do you, as a woman, belittle other women to stand up? We seem to have a lot of that in our community. the light skins and dark skins and the light skins. We allow light skin get away with this. Light skins do get away with this. Light skin do say it's based on what you got sitting not just within the black community. The darker white people have a problem sometimes. They have a problem sometimes with the dark community, with the enforcement. Because I think some people, I think they pride themselves. I think they themselves more than anything. And I also think that they're some of the most talented, prettiest. You know, when I see, I think regardless of how you get sometimes today of some people, it was a time when I was younger that no matter what election you are, you never were exempt from getting Jones on. Never. It didn't matter. You could be burnt by blue, the high yellow, mellow yellow like me. I used to hear the old yellow, light yellow. Never took offense. I knew I liked skin with the big lips. I didn't just, I was just busy growing up. And again, I was self-love, self-respect. So when I realized I was looking probably like 12. I realized I got middle school. I see girls and the girls see me. Oh yeah. And I'm like, okay. They smell good. Even the kids got that little yard smell. It smell good. Okay. Smell like some good outside air. Yeah. And the girls have their hair. It's always good to see the big tails and stuff. It smell like, I don't know, it smell like some baby wipes and shit. I've always been practiced that. You want to be America, I like a good personality. I didn't like her. When my lady was nice to say Jim on, she was falling out to laugh. And she come and say that over me. I be laughing, trying to hold her in like they funny, but then it'd be so funny. And we still want me to be acting silly crazy. People used to look at us like, oh no. We're like, no. Oh yeah, I can't get all this type of shit. We just met. And I see over these loose cats because even when she eyes come to something, and she just like, she just come to something. Hell, she sometimes she makes us stupid. You know, it was just, I think she just, you know, she was, and she used to tell me, she was like, in the bathroom first. I wasn't mad about that. I miss guys, we got together. You know, she used to tell me like stuff. I do take her for it, which that's about it, like the good thing anybody do. And she showed it, so she know like, what she was doing, where she was going, none of that. And I'm a person that used to talk a lot. When I meet her, I'm talking about I'll ask questions. My mother always told me, ask questions. So I ask questions about the person, what they don't like, how do they move, how they act when they get drunk, how like, can they look, you know, do they like makeup, like, all those questions. Do they wash their clothes every week, all kind of stuff. Do they value, you know, just probably some crazy questions, but and the more I got the correct answer, or like women, like they weren't afraid to say, you know what, I never did before. I went to learn it. I was like, yes, because I knew it, then I'm like, we can do. And it's for me. Did I fight everybody in the description of a good man? No, I did not. Again, I was about the 8th grade. One point I would go over cycle age. At one point, is that it? Yeah, that's it. It's all that. And it worked. It worked. In my round, I probably like I said, 5.9 recorded about 190, 195, about 200. I was in the turn, I was like 205. But again, very little about it. In fact, I got like 8 back. You know, and I did my prime, that last, that was probably about, let me see. So I was 40, it just became a 4 back. Went from 2 to 4, the whole 6. You know, I was single, working, not going to the gym as much at all, but I wasn't out as far as go work out on some shoulders, some chest, some abs, all that. And I wasn't doing that. I was on work, you know, a little basketball and a couple of days. And I would just move around. I never moved, never that. You know, I met some good women. I met some women who present themselves one day and were not the person once you didn't, but I never got upset and complained like, oh, she did this way. Exactly what she's going to do. So I just accepted it. Wasn't complaining about it. But then I met some people who were, but I was in that space. I felt like they were missing because again, I had conversations even though they didn't have that all that I was looking for. They had some. That's why they yelled too. Like, okay, I'm not gonna be a cleaning up type of guy. Although I did it, but at that time in my life, I didn't have the capacity to do it because I was focusing on myself. I was focusing on just trying to be better. And I say, somebody find me. And then my wife, she blamed herself for everything that I was looking for months. You know, the fact she could sit with me and laugh and joke with me, that was the bonus. You know, that was just the bonus. I'm like, okay, this is real, right? And she gave me who she was at the moment, you know, at the time. She told me all the time that she grew a lot more just by being with me. And you know, again, I would ask questions like that. Let me help you because you're very calm. You don't get to it. You know, she's had some very own mom and stuff, but she's like, you just take calm. You tell me how to find to it, and you don't even be like it. She wasn't that mother. And looking on my life, I went down that my mother was a wife. And when her and my father divorced, in my years, you know, I think it was like points. She said it was a good mother. They didn't even talk about it again. And then the mother finally got divorced. My mother walked away with nothing. She didn't want anything from him. And she was there to everything. She didn't push the energy on us as children. My father was talking about because me and my father was struggling with this thing. I know he's inspiration for me. A lot of stuff I did in life. But I was respectful again. Made sure that he had everything he needed. When I was in his face, and if he said stupid, I would always address it. And he really couldn't talk. My father never really talked unless he was half trained. He never talked to me women and money, you know, career and stuff like that. He came visit me
in 2018, he came on Chicago was in there, and I took him with me, because I'm way hurt from my siblings. I've always been about my business. So when I took him with me, he said, position, I ain't you talking about. He said, once we got a job, you got a job. He said, you got a position. I'm like, I listen, what you mean? He said, and I guess he's from good at that. He said, you do something to help me. And when they, every time somebody talks to me about you, they talk about how good you are. He said, you're always trying to get into a better place. He said, you got some class. He said, what's up? You still help people. Well, let me tell you this. Just so you know, I got all that from my mom. He said, other shit I got from you. I said, my ability, I got from you. He said, because you didn't know nothing about people's house, how to take care of yourself. I said, all that from mom, got that ability, gave a little judgment. yeah, bad. And then give house section. But he saw doing it. And I took it very serious. To helping those that were on my requirement or just part of my inner circle, I take those things very serious. And I learned from my mom. I demand respect about what I say and what I do. I said, I'm good if I say it. A lot of times if I'm saying it, I just, just let there just so you know, so as we move forward, then okay, I see how you are. Whether because I've been in several jobs, people that I work with, and I had somebody tell me this before. When I first met you, I didn't like you. See, I like it like that. You like me. Because you were sitting cocky and arrogant. So let me explain that. When you come in and you just have this way, I said, the students always want to talk to you, and they say something crazy in the middle of this, you see always be able to, and you make them move it differently. I was saying, so you didn't mean to deal with you, then get those I serve. God, my name, I had a coach tell me that my clients used to treat me like God. I used to look at that, what the hell you talking about? Because God was around you, listening to you. Then that's when I really realized, I was like, I was the bald-head dude. Just working and trying to be that person. So it just amazed me how that happened. It amazed me, but I didn't be like, these people because it's past tense, it's part of my history. Like, in that moment, I didn't think about coming in work, doing something. He speaks to these people, how you doing? Shut up. Moving around. And I didn't worry about what other people, say about me or what they do. I couldn't worry about that. I have billions to fry. So, and I heard a lot of this, my mother. I do. And I was finishing up, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, that's not your favorite black, ladies and gentlemen. And, like I say, women who have no character are going to always shine. Everything else will be like everything about them. The children will be shown progress. Friends will be positive. Just everything growth happens. But you can be living in no character. And that comes back to being like when God actually finds you, you're in a position to be a wife. And a lot of stems from having no character. It's about character. 95% of the time. Looks are wrong, but the character is something that wouldn't change. We all bloodier, slicker, handsomer, more pretty. But the character is you are. It is what it is, TV. Except my brother's son. It is what it is. Your character. It is what it is. So just be mindful that a woman with no character will always have favor. Right? And the other one, the next one, the devil is his wife. I really want to 27 unique. So just having that have of unity, take up things, whatever, all the friends, I like great articles. He was always bringing to that is situation. I don't have it. I don't want this land in the solid. I look pretty honest. I feel like coming around, I really like that's how I mess up. Three of them. Then you go to contact my CB. It used to be a problem. It may not be it's bad. It's very wrong. This something working. Like that. Yeah. It's bad. Yeah. But I love his life. Also, it's like, you know, I was eating right. And everyone, 18, person, you say, you can remember those parts of these best. It's about you. So, you and that name, you can configure that first. But in all the you see it's like here, and I this book here, and when they try, what look, they look like this is that they're trying to do like consistency. And everyone, first name, like putting this is probably one of the generations of SBT. And so let me go down list. So I said, just scary, it's loud on today. And like what we've been doing, we've been destroyed everything that you're trying to do. And loving us is different. I was ready for this. If you want to we can it could help you to find them relationship brings a little different to business very serious. So these titles and ways to move on notice. Everything's shared in the box. And then when you go to the work, when we were young, when they go to the court, or even girl house again, and then they say this stuff that, and they get all these stuff they need, wire and what they I'm talking about. I still my own, no, but I don't know, really in the they yeah, see, I just need to today. Really did the next thing struggle. Love and something and stuff and but just that. Please do not see your feet. But it's so bad. We think like you don't like you. They like you don't like me. And that's good. Together, we're trying to make our home, make our space a safer place. We together, we're out networking for opportunities. Bring those together, opportunities to help build arguments. We've been trying that. You may not like to. We can just give in your any that was be process or you fold it in. And it's just something you go through the journey. We to that really big sequence and continue to the husband and the wife. And yeah, just be about it. And where you are us nation us as just see people who don't be first won't be nobody. People know that they want to do good, my wife, for them now kid. But if it's just from you when you're move they like probably say never been done twice. Qualified for a lot of people it's just and just like I'm not qualified, overqualified. Me not much other days I'm all this is bringing to me. But however you're young again, you take space, please clear it from for yourself. You and I you and I that want to be right, whether the Bible or Quran or use the new pill, whatever version of the Bible for me. All principles, all rules, all affection. The more investor you talk about principles, these foundations, in your like shit, all this when you the age of reason is on third eye goes so you want to yes that's the rule. Get over but the as you know this is just as you want those others you skill or even stronger faster. Again, but the information your life is it or you just do what it says. I just don't but all doesn't true like something more it don't take no doesn't true. It's a lot of circumstances. Basically the same and even the so you give it because we want to know but the laws feels come in and forget there's a big clear and to finish line. It's going to take this ball like then you be a feeling of what I'm saying. Yeah, so I got 9.5. So I'm exactly I was in the and so she didn't do the rest of the restaurants. If I get I go from last year up in game and I'm not seeing the thing I'm playing her for like 30 years. He's saying a lot. I'm saying about everything's beats like and that's one thing I hope that like you get this teach you low on type sleep at the fix it. Don't let it you just but we'll see you a partner, whether you a husband, whether you wife, if you tell things prosper, after you will it. So get it another week, I really that video out today. So just some acting, some apologize. And I'm gonna better far out to go back to spend time to get it all the time. And today something I'm in trouble. That's my of course. Again, good day, leave your hand. My Dr. Frost. Once again, I appreciate y'all. Again, I'll be trying to say, I praise you space. You know, you doing work. I think that's what we need. Not just right now. So I'm gonna get y'all. But I'm the free. I'm not funny the same. I'm saying the same what we do. You ain't much. It's great. Really is it. You know, I won't get about it. I'll use things I got to know. YouTube. Shit, I'll obvious. Good, bad, you know. And then continue to say. Continue to do it. Whatever. Just see like. So I'm here. So I'll be better. My parents done. It's necessarily for. So I don't. The dreams and that. I'm ready to know what those can. And my son is back for Bauer. Just I want to thank all y'all for watching. I will try to figure this out. I can be on. I appreciate everybody. Bye. This is Jim with the and I'll see you all.